Hello, hello, hello. By now, you should have the brand new Genesis 50th anniversary The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway box set nestled to your bosom, caressing and cajoling it. Or you're laughing at those of us who spent all that money on something we've owned many times before. That's the way that these things roll. However, when we have moments like this, we also get interviews. We get interviews, and a good one dropped. I think it was at the weekend. It was on the Times website. Unfortunately, it's gone behind a paywall. But Darren, who knows how to get behind paywalls, don't tell anyone. PDF'd it, so I've got to be careful because there's an advert here. But yeah, it kind of got a bit mangled in the PDF. Let's see, went a bit, but it does work. But there's some interesting details. There's some details. There's some dirt. Oh, there's some dirt. There's some dirt in here to talk about. Now, again, those of you who are in the habit of purchasing physical product from their favourite bands are probably saying to themselves, I can't support Pink Floyd anymore because they sold out to Sony. Can't support whoever, Lou Reed. I don't know. There's been so many of them, isn't there, that have sold their catalogues. Queen is another one. And Genesis, I think it was about 3 years ago, they sold out to Concord Music Group. However, the details were a little bit scant. We did cover it. It was a bit. We didn't know the who's, how's, whys, and whens of the sale, but it went for, I reckon, upwards of $300 million. I don't know what that is in proper pound sterling, but probably $300 million quid, I imagine. They're just being coy. But it was said that it's Banks, Collins, Hackett, Rutherford, up till 75 that they've sold, so that so it's everything post Gabriel, as it were, is now in the ownership of Concord Music. You think, okay, well, we've got details. That's not strictly the case, because in this interview with the Times, it turns out that if you bought said box set, if you either on compact disc or on the vinyl, which is the better version, you've got to admit, there's only one man in the band who's actually making any money from it. There's only one man who's walking away with a little spring in his step and a whistle and a song in his heart. There's only one man who our money has reached. Yes, it's Mr. Peter Gabriel. It's according to the Times here, that deal with Concord went back to 1970, right, to the whole catalogue. But Gabriel just didn't sign his rights away. And it also extended to the solo works as well. So that means Hackett, Banks, Rutherford, their solo albums are run, and Collins, of course, because that's why you've been seeing the reissue campaign for Phil Collins happening. Their back catalogues are under the control of Concord Music, according to this Times report. It's there, it's in black and white, it's all there. So yeah, Gabriel in the interview says, well, I'll quote it. He says he is the only one of the band who still owns his rights to Genesis songs. 3 years ago, Concord Music Group paid a sum, reportedly upwards of $300 million, for the other 4 rights, plus the rights to solo material, including, crucially, Collins. I'm the difficult one, Gabriel says. Bastard, Banks says. He's the only one earning any extra money for this. Oh dear. But Rutherford points out they still all care enough to be here, for the interview, and anything new they do is theirs to own. Okay, so if they did a new album, it wouldn't be under the auspices of Concord Music. A bank, and then adds what new is going to happen. well, this is it. So yeah, you now know that Gabriel is the only one actually making any money out of this this box set release, which is interesting. So, you know, you're not necessarily supporting the band this time, you're supporting Peter Gabriel. But it's a really good interview. There's lots of nice detail in there. Gabriel, they talk about the ABBA, virtual ABBA Mamma Mia show, and again, Gabriel's like, well, it's not really anything that interests them. But he does mention this, and if you're a fan of the Lamb, your little ears are going to prick up. Yes. And what's that? Well, he mentioned he's mentioned that, well, back in the oldie days, they tried to get a film version, you know, of the Lamb made. Yeah. Well, there's you know, there's still a there's still hope. Yes. So yeah, the first time he tried to do it was back in the 70s. And this time, so I'm just stretching, right? Because he tried to do it with Jodorowsky, who did El Topo, which again is a big basis. I don't know if you've ever seen that film. I saw it years ago. I really need to revisit that one. It was probably in the 90s. Crikey. It was in the 90s, and you think, God, the 90s were like 35 years ago. Just think, I remember watching that. But yeah, he's trying again to get a script for The Lamb off the ground. With Argentine writer Nicholas, now I'm going to mangle this, Guacabone. He co-wrote Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu's film Birdman. That's the one with Michael Keaton, where it's kind of done all in one shot. I don't know if you see that one. He says it's exciting. When we have something, it will be presented to these guys. I guess he was indicating to the Genesis group. But again, they were talking about, you know, what the song ends up to. You know, and nobody really understands the story. But again, we talk about penises being amputated, and you know, and Gabriel then also adds, "Well, I've just had my prostate removed." So yeah, a bit of a parallel there with the Lamb. Maybe he wears it in a tube around his neck, slung very low. I do not know. So yeah, that was interesting to find out that there could be a film version coming. But again, I wouldn't hold your breath. And what else was there? They were talking about how they're kind of loose friends. They were loose friends, and that they have played at each other's weddings, right? With Rutherford and Collins back in Gabriel at his wedding when he performed in Your Eyes. That was his second wedding to Maeve Flynn. That was back in 2002. But the band, well, Banks and Rutherford, backed Collins on the song Throwing It All Away, which he performed quite aptly to his third wedding to Oriane Seavey back in 1999. She's the one that tried to rinse him for all that money, you know, and stole a lot of his memorabilia. Well, held it hostage at his mansion. I don't know if you remember that. Banks says, I thought it was the most unsuitable song. I don't know. It turned out quite apt. So yeah, this is it. So yeah, it's what else is going on? Oh yeah, Mike Rutherford. He's writing music at the moment, and he's working on a musical called The Zimmers, which is based on there was a group of elderly people that formed a rock band, and a TV show was it was based around a TV show the BBC did around 2007. I don't know if you remember. So yeah, that's something you could look out for. The rock musical The Zimmers by Mike Rutherford, and Gabriel has confirmed that his next album could arrive next year, and it's going to be called OI. Not confusing, Pete. And Banks added, I get muddled with your titles. And Gabriel counters, you've only got 2 letters to remember. And Banks says, yeah, I know, that's the problem. So I like the way they're still catty with each other. So yeah, it was an interesting piece. Interesting to know where the money's going there. It is going all to Concord, and that they do have a deal that, well, at least covers the lamb. I would imagine it extends back further than that. So yeah, and yeah, interesting to know that Gabriel is indeed working, and he says it's coming on lovely on another solo album. But again, don't hold your breath, because you know how long you can wait a long time. You can wait a long time between solo albums. So yeah, it was a nice little bit of Genesis news for you to keep you interested in the current Lamb 50th anniversary edition. Yeah, I've got to do a review for that. I don't know which way to run it, because but it will be forthcoming. So that's it. That was the news featuring Genesis. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. There's only one more thing to say, but I know what that is, and that is prog on.